My name is Maud, and I'm 64 years old. I built my interior design company from nothing after losing my husband decades ago. My daughter Amanda was once my pride and joy, my business partner, my everything. But things change. This Mother's Day showed me just how much. When your child gives her mother-in-law a $30,000 ring and luxury cruise while handing you a $6 plastic flower, the message is clear. What wasn't clear was that beneath this gesture lay a plot to take everything I'd built. If you're watching this while dealing with family business drama, give this video a like and subscribe to join others who understand that blood ties don't guarantee loyalty. I never imagined I'd be telling a story like this at my age. The path that led me here began 35 years ago, when my husband Tom died unexpectedly of a heart attack. I was left alone with our 7-year-old daughter Amanda, and mountains of debt from his failed business ventures. Those early days were a blur of grief, fear, and determination. I had no choice but to find a way forward for Amanda's sake. Interior design had always been my passion, though. Tom had discouraged me from pursuing it professionally. With him gone, I turned that passion into our lifeline. I started small, working from our dining room table, taking any job I could get. I'd stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning sketching designs after spending the day meeting clients and hunting for affordable but beautiful pieces. Amanda would often sit beside me, colouring in her own little sketchbook, mimicking my concentrated expression. "Mummy, when I grow up, I want to make pretty rooms just like you," she told me one night, her small hand patting mine. That moment fueled me through countless difficult days ahead. As Amanda grew, so did my business. By her teenage years, I had a small office and 2 employees. Amanda showed a natural eye for colour and space that thrilled me. On weekends and school breaks, she'd shadow me on client visits, soaking up everything like a sponge. "You have the talent, sweetheart," I told her when she was 16 after she'd helped me rearrange a particularly challenging living room. "But if you really want to run this business someday, you'll need the business knowledge I never had." Amanda took that advice to heart. She studied diligently and earned a scholarship to a prestigious business school. I was so proud watching her walk across that stage at graduation, knowing all our sacrifices had paid off. "We're going to be unstoppable together, Mum," she said, hugging me tightly after the ceremony. It was during her final year of college that Amanda met Jason Taylor at a networking event. He was handsome, charming, and from a wealthy family with connections in real estate development, potentially valuable for our business. When Amanda brought Jason home to meet me, I noticed how his eyes carefully assessed everything in my house. There was a calculation behind his charm that made me uneasy, but Amanda was smitten. Who was I to question her judgment? She was a grown woman, making her own choices. 6 months later, I met Jason's mother, Patricia, at their engagement dinner. She arrived dripping in designer labels, her perfectly coiffed silver hair, framing a face tight from multiple procedures. Her smile never reached her eyes when she greeted me. "So lovely to meet the woman who raised Amanda all alone," she said, somehow making it sound like both a compliment and criticism. It must have been such a struggle. Throughout dinner, Patricia dominated the conversation with stories of the Taylor family's social connections and achievements. When I mentioned my business success, she nodded politely before turning to ask the waiter about wine vintages. The wedding was lavish, far beyond what I could contribute, though I offered everything I could. Patricia took control of the planning gently but firmly, dismissing my suggestions as quaint and simple. Amanda, eager to impress her new family, followed Patricia's lead. After the honeymoon, Amanda joined my company officially. By then, Maud Sullivan Designs had grown substantially. We had 15 employees and a reputation for quality work that kept our calendar booked solid 6 months ahead. I owned 100% of the company, but was thrilled to bring Amanda in as my right hand. "This will be yours someday," I told her during her first day. Everything I've built has always been for you. The first year working together was everything I'd dreamed. Amanda's business education brought fresh perspectives, while I taught her the practical aspects of our industry. We complemented each other beautifully. Then things began to change. Amanda and Jason bought a house in the same exclusive neighborhood as his parents, a house far beyond what her salary should have afforded. When I expressed concern about their spending, Amanda brushed it off. Jason makes good money, Mum, and we need to live in the right neighborhood for networking. Patricia began dropping by our office, ostensibly to take Amanda to lunch. Soon she was offering unsolicited suggestions about how we should run the business. Your company has such potential, she said during one visit, glancing around our office with a critical eye. But you really should consider updating your brand. First impressions matter so much in luxury markets. To my dismay, Amanda began echoing these sentiments. Mom Patricia introduced me to the marketing director at Lux Living magazine. He says our website looks dated. We really need to invest in rebranding. I agreed to some changes, wanting to support Amanda's enthusiasm, but each concession seemed to invite more criticism, more suggestions, more pressure to transform the business I'd built with my own hands. The bond between Amanda and Patricia strengthened, while my connection with my daughter weakened. Amanda began spending holidays at the tailors, returning with stories of their traditions as if they were superior to the ones we'd shared for decades. Patricia says we should consider changing our company name, Amanda announced one day. Sullivan Designs sounds too generic. We need something with more impact. It was my name, my company, my life's work. But I swallowed my hurt and said we'd discuss it later. I didn't want to risk damaging our relationship further. Meanwhile, Amanda's salary continued to increase as she took on more responsibilities. I was happy to reward her contributions, but sometimes wondered if I was being too generous, especially when she'd mention weekend shopping trips with Patricia or the new luxury car Jason had just purchased. Business is booming, Mom, she'd say when I expressed concern. We deserve to enjoy the fruits of our success. I couldn't argue with that. Business was indeed booming, but increasingly I felt like an outsider in my own company. The shift in power dynamics became more pronounced in the months leading up to that fateful Mother's Day. Amanda began excluding me from meetings with our biggest clients, claiming they related better to someone younger. You've taught me everything I know, Mum, she'd say. Trust me to handle this. I did trust her, perhaps too much. I noticed employees gradually deferring to Amanda, even on decisions that should have come to me. When I questioned this, Amanda suggested I might be imagining things due to stress. You work too hard, Mom. Maybe you should take more time off. I can handle things here. Patricia's influence grew more overt. She hosted exclusive dinner parties with our wealthiest clients, never extending an invitation to me. When I discovered these events through social media posts, Amanda dismissed my concerns. It's just social, not business, she insisted, though the line between the two was increasingly blurred. Jason began appearing at our office more frequently, often huddled with Amanda behind closed doors. When I'd enter, their conversation would abruptly shift to casual topics. Just talking about weekend plans, Amanda would say with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. During a planning meeting for our upcoming quarter, Amanda presented a proposal for a significant expansion. The investment required was substantial and would stretch our resources thin. We need to think bigger, Mom, she said when I expressed caution. The market's changing. Either we grow aggressively or we get left behind. When I suggested we grow more sustainably, Jason, who had no official role in our company, interjected from the back of the room. With all due respect, Maud Amanda has a business degree. The numbers support her strategy. I felt undermined in front of my entire team, but maintained my composure. Later in private, I expressed my discomfort with Jason's involvement. He's my husband, Amanda replied defensively. He wants what's best for us, for the company. The company is still mine, Amanda, I reminded her gently. Something flashed in her eyes, annoyance, impatience, before she composed herself. Of course, Mum. No one's forgetting that. But it felt like they were. At our annual company event, I overheard Patricia telling a client that she and Amanda were reshaping the company for the modern era. When I confronted Amanda about this, she laughed it off. You know how Patricia exaggerates. She's just proud of me, of us. The distinction between me and us didn't escape my notice. Jason began suggesting with increasing frequency that Amanda deserved equity in the business. She's the future of this company, he'd say, as if I were already irrelevant. Amanda started talking about when we take over, rather than if. The presumption stung, but I remained silent, not wanting to create conflict. During client presentations, Amanda would sometimes correct my suggestions, positioning herself as the more current, relevant voice. What Mum means is, she would begin, before essentially contradicting everything I'd said. Patricia took to sending me articles about successful business transitions and retirement planning. Just thought these might interest you. She'd write her message clear. Despite the growing tension, I held on to hope that our relationship could be salvaged. Amanda was still my daughter, my only family. I'd built this business for her after all. Perhaps I was being too sensitive, too resistant to change. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. The Amanda who once sat beside me at our dining room table, dreaming of our future together, seemed to be vanishing before my eyes, replaced by someone with Patricia's ambition and Jason's calculation. Still, nothing prepared me for what happened on Mother's Day. I awoke that Sunday with butterflies in my stomach, hoping the special day might help reset our strained relationship. I'd spent weeks selecting thoughtful gifts for Amanda, a vintage design book she'd once admired, a custom necklace with both our birthstones, and a photo album chronicling our business journey together. I spent the morning cooking Amanda's favorite childhood meal, my special lasagna with garlic bread and tiramisu for dessert. I set the table with my best china and fresh flowers, imagining a warm reconnection over good food and shared memories. Amanda had said they'd arrive at 2. By 3:30, I was checking my phone for messages. At 4, she finally called. Mum, so sorry we're running late. Patricia had a spa appointment that went long. We'll be there in 30 minutes and hope you don't mind. Patricia and Jason are coming too. My heart sank. I'd envisioned an intimate mother-daughter day, not another performance for Patricia. But I simply said, Of course, dear. There's plenty of food. They arrived at 5, nearly 3 hours late. Patricia immediately commented on my quaint table setting while Jason headed straight for the liquor cabinet. Amanda seemed distracted, checking her phone repeatedly. Sorry again for being late, Mum. You wouldn't believe the day we've had, Amanda said, not actually explaining what had kept them. Throughout dinner, Patricia dominated the conversation with stories about their country club friends and their recent trip to Europe. When I tried to share news about a design award our company had received, Patricia interrupted with a story about her friend whose daughter had been featured in Architectural Digest. After dinner, Amanda announced it was time for gifts. My stomach tightened with anticipation and anxiety as we moved to the living room. Patricia should go first, Amanda declared, handing her mother-in-law an elegantly wrapped package. Patricia made a show of carefully removing the paper. Inside was a black velvet jewelry box. She opened it and gasped dramatically. "Oh my goodness," she exclaimed, lifting out a stunning diamond ring. "It's exactly like the one I admired in Saint-Tropez." 5 carats platinum setting, Jason announced proudly. Just like you wanted, Mum. Amanda beamed. And that's not all. She handed Patricia another envelope. Patricia opened it and squealed with delight. A Mediterranean cruise, first class, all the way. For you, Dad, Amanda and me, Jason added. 16 days, 8 countries. I sat there stunned at the extravagance. The ring alone must have cost at least $30,000. On Amanda's salary, the generous salary I paid her, such gifts were wildly excessive. Then Amanda turned to me with a small gift bag. Happy Mother's Day, Mum. The bag was lightweight, with minimal tissue paper. Inside was a plastic flower, the kind sold at drugstore checkout counters, and a pre-printed card with Happy Mother's Day and Amanda's signature. Nothing else. No personal message, no acknowledgement of our relationship or history together. It's nice, I managed, fighting to keep my voice steady. Patricia reached over to examine my gift. How sweet, she said with barely concealed satisfaction. Very practical. No need to water it. Everyone laughed except me. I forced a smile while something crumbled inside me. Thank you, I said quietly, setting the plastic flower aside. I then gave Amanda my carefully selected gifts. She opened them quickly with polite but muted thanks. The design book earned a cursory, cool thanks. The necklace received slightly more enthusiasm, until Patricia commented that yellow gold was rather outdated. The photo album, which had taken me weeks to compile, was flipped through in seconds. These are great, Mum. Really thoughtful, Amanda said, already returning everything to their boxes. Patricia checked her watch. We should really get going. We have that thing at the Hendersons tonight. As they prepared to leave, I overheard Patricia discussing cruise details with Amanda. The shore excursion in Santorini is absolutely worth the extra cost, Patricia was saying. I'm sure Mum would have enjoyed it, Jason replied, not bothering to lower his voice. Maybe next time, Amanda said, with a dismissive wave. They hadn't even considered inviting me. After hurried goodbyes, they left. I stood in my doorway watching their expensive car disappear down the street. Then I closed the door, leaned against it, and finally allowed myself to cry. The plastic flower sat on my coffee table, a $6 token from my only child, the child for whom I'd sacrificed everything. Beside it lay the empty gift bags from Patricia's extravagant presents. The contrast couldn't have been clearer. In Amanda's eyes, I had become an obligation, a box to check off. Patricia was the mother she valued now. I cried until there were no tears left, then dragged myself to bed. Sleep eluded me as I replayed every interaction, every subtle shift in our relationship over the past few years. When had my daughter stopped seeing me? When had Patricia's influence become so complete? Most painfully, I wondered about the source of the funds for those lavish gifts. Amanda's salary was generous, but not $30,000 diamond generous. A suspicion began forming in my mind, one I'd been avoiding for months. By morning, I knew what I had to do. I arrived at the office, unusually early Monday morning, determined to investigate my growing suspicions. The plastic flower from yesterday still felt like an insult, but now I wondered if it was merely a symptom of something far worse. My first stop was Thomas, our company accountant. A loyal employee for 15 years, Thomas had always maintained meticulous records. Thomas, I need to review all financial transactions authorized by Amanda over the past year, I said without preamble. His hesitation was immediate and telling. Any particular reason, Maud? Just doing my due diligence, I replied, keeping my tone casual. Amanda's taking on more responsibility, and I want to make sure everything's running smoothly. Thomas's discomfort was palpable as he pulled up the records. What I discovered turned my stomach. Over the past 8 months, Amanda had approved substantial bonuses for herself, citing business development successes that I had no knowledge of. She had also created a marketing development fund, that appeared to funnel company money into events hosted by Patricia, events from which I was conspicuously absent. "Did you question any of this?" I asked Thomas, struggling to keep my voice steady. "I tried," he admitted, looking miserable. "Amanda said she had your authorization. When I asked for documentation, she said she'd get it to me, but never did. I should have pushed harder, Maud. I'm so sorry." I thanked him for his honesty and moved on to Elizabeth in legal. My question was simple. Had Amanda been making inquiries about company ownership or control? Elizabeth's face told me everything before she spoke. She asked about the process for transferring ownership, Elizabeth confirmed. Said you were considering retirement and wanted to transition leadership to her. I told her any such changes would require your signature on multiple documents. "And what was her response?" I asked, though I already knew. She said that wouldn't be a problem. Next, I visited our design studio. In Amanda's office, I discovered presentation boards for a complete company rebranding. The proposed new name, Taylor Design Collective. My name, Sullivan, had been completely erased. The boards were dated 3 weeks ago, yet Amanda had never mentioned any rebranding plans to me. In her desk drawer, I found a folder labeled Transition Strategy. Inside was a detailed timeline for what amounted to a complete takeover of my company. Action items included secure additional financial leverage, isolate M from key client relationships, and prepare ownership transfer documentation. M. That's what I'd been reduced to, an initial and obstacle to be managed. My hands shaking, I continued my investigation. Our IT manager confirmed that Amanda had requested admin access to all company financial accounts, access that would bypass my approval for transactions. From our receptionist, I learnt that Amanda and Jason had been meeting with outside investors, presenting themselves as the company's decision-makers. Patricia had attended several of these meetings, introduced as a strategic advisor. The final betrayal came from Sarah, my longtime assistant, who had been with me since the beginning. "There's something you should know," Sarah said, closing my office door. "Amanda told me not to schedule you for the Bennett project presentation next week. She said, and I quote, 'Mum's getting too overwhelmed with details these days. It's better if I handle the big clients.'" Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "She's been saying things like that to staff for months. That you're getting older, that you're not keeping up with trends, that you need to step back." Most of us didn't believe it, but some of the newer employees, they've never seen you in action. They're starting to defer to her automatically. I thanked Sarah for her loyalty and spent the rest of the morning making calls to my personal attorney, to my bank, to trusted industry colleagues. By noon, I had a clear picture of what was happening and what I needed to do. First, I changed all passwords to company financial accounts and revoked Amanda's access. Next, I instructed security to limit access to sensitive company information. Then I called an emergency meeting with my attorney to discuss selling the business. "Are you sure about this?" my attorney asked. "This company is your life's work." "It was supposed to be my daughter's legacy," I replied. "But she's chosen a different path. If she wants this business so badly, she's willing to scheme behind my back, then she can try to buy it like anyone else." As I drove home that evening, my phone began ringing. Amanda. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately, and again. By the time I reached home, I had 28 missed calls and a dozen increasingly frantic voicemails. "Mom, call me back. There's some kind of issue with the company accounts." "Mom, seriously, we need to talk now. The bank says my access has been revoked. This must be a mistake." "Mom, please, this isn't funny. I have payments that need processing." "Mum, I'm getting really worried. Are you okay? Please call me." "Mom, what is going on? Sarah said you were asking questions about me." What are you doing? The final message left nearly in tears. Mum, please. I heard from Thomas that you're talking to buyers. You can't sell the company. Please, Mum, don't sell the company. Call me back. Please, please call me back. I turned off my phone and poured myself a glass of wine. Tomorrow would be soon enough for that conversation. Tonight, I needed to mourn the daughter I thought I had. The next morning, I arrived at my office to find Amanda already waiting, pacing frantically. Her normally perfect appearance was disheveled, hair hastily pulled back, minimal makeup, yesterday's clothes. When she saw me, she rushed forward. Mum, thank God. Why haven't you been answering my calls? I've been worried sick. Have you? I asked calmly, unlocking my office door. Please come in, Amanda. We have a lot to discuss. Once inside, her concern quickly shifted to indignation. What's going on? My access to everything has been cut off. I had to tell the Martinson clients we needed to reschedule because I couldn't access the presentation files. Do you have any idea how unprofessional that makes us look? Us, I repeated, taking a seat behind my desk. That's an interesting choice of word. What are you talking about, Mum? You're acting crazy. Is this about Mother's Day? I'm sorry if you didn't like your gift, but that's hardly a reason to… This isn't about the plastic flower, Amanda, I interrupted. Though that was certainly illuminating. This is about the transition strategy document I found in your desk. This is about the unauthorized bonuses you've been giving yourself. This is about you and Jason meeting with investors behind my back. The color drained from her face. You went through my desk. You had no right. I had every right. This is my company. 100% mine. Something you seem to have forgotten. Amanda's phone rang. She glanced at it, then back at me. It's Jason. He's worried too. Put him on speaker, I said. Jason's voice filled the room, tense and irritated. Amanda, what's happening? My father just called saying he heard rumors about Maud selling the company. Tell me that's not true. Before Amanda could respond, I spoke. Hello, Jason. Yes, I am exploring selling the company. I've received several expressions of interest already. You can't do that, he exploded. Amanda is supposed to inherit that company. We have plans. Jason? Amanda hissed. But it was too late. Yes, I've seen your plans, I said calmly. Very comprehensive, particularly the part about isolating me from client relationships and preparing ownership transfer documentation. There was stunned silence, then the sound of a car door slamming through the phone. I'm coming there right now, Jason said. Don't do anything until I arrive. And call my mother. She'll want to be there for this conversation. 30 minutes later, my office contained 4 people, myself, Amanda, Jason, and Patricia, who had arrived in full battle regalia designer suit and perfectly coiffed hair, creating an armor of affluence. Maud, darling, Patricia began in her most condescending tone, there seems to be a terrible misunderstanding. Let's all take a deep breath and… There's no misunderstanding, I cut in. Amanda and Jason, with your encouragement, have been systematically working to push me out of my own company. The company I built from nothing while raising Amanda alone. Patricia's false smile tightened. That's a very serious accusation. It's not an accusation. It's a fact documented in their own words and actions. Amanda burst into tears. Mum, please. You're blowing this way out of proportion. We just wanted to help modernize the company, bring fresh ideas. By erasing my name, by calling it Taylor Design Collective. By telling staff I'm too old to handle important clients. Jason stepped forward, attempting a reasonable tone. Maud, you have to understand. This business needs to evolve. Amanda has the education, the connections, the vision to take it forward. You should be proud of her initiative. Initiative? I laughed without humor. Is that what you call going behind my back? Manipulating company funds? Planning my obsolescence? We never meant to hurt you, Amanda insisted. We just thought, if we showed you how much better things could be under new leadership, you'd naturally want to step aside. New leadership funded by my decades of work, I noted, while giving me a plastic flower for Mother's Day and $30,000 diamonds to your mother-in-law. Patricia sniffed dismissively. The gift comparison is hardly relevant to a business discussion. It's entirely relevant, I countered. It perfectly illustrates where Amanda's priorities and loyalties now lie. Amanda's tears flowed faster. That's not fair. I love you, Mum. I've always loved you. Yet you were willing to push me out of my life's work. Because you wouldn't listen, Amanda shouted suddenly. Every time we suggested changes, you resisted. The company needs to grow to expand. We need the Taylor connections the investors Jason found. We, I interrupted. Or you? Tell me. Amanda, how much are you and Jason in debt right now? Her shocked expression confirmed my suspicion. That's right. I called your mortgage company. That house you bought, the one in Patricia's neighborhood. You can't afford it on your salary, generous as it is. The luxury car payments, the vacations, the $30,000 diamond for Patricia. You've been living beyond your means, counting on taking over my company to bail you out. Jason's face had turned an alarming shade of red. That's our private business. Not when you're using my company as your personal piggy bank, it isn't. Patricia stood abruptly. This is getting us nowhere. Maud, you're clearly upset and not thinking rationally. Why don't we all take a few days to calm down, then discuss this like adults? There's nothing to discuss. I'm selling the company. No, Amanda wailed. Mum, you can't. We need this company. We've made commitments based on counting my money as your own. I finished for her. That was your mistake. Patricia's mask of politeness finally dropped. You vindictive old woman. After everything Amanda has done for your pathetic little company, without her connections through our family, you'd still be decorating tract homes in the suburbs. Mother, please, Jason muttered. But Patricia was on a roll. You should be grateful Amanda was willing to attach her future to your business at all. She could have done so much better. But no. She insisted on honoring your little mother-daughter dream. And this is how you repay her loyalty, by threatening to sell out from under her. I looked at Patricia calmly. Thank you for finally being honest, Patricia. It's refreshing after years of your thinly veiled contempt. Turning to Amanda, who had collapsed into a chair, sobbing, I continued. I built this company to secure your future, Amanda. I would have given it to you gladly. All you had to do was wait, learn, and treat me with respect. Instead, you chose to conspire with Patricia and Jason to take it by force. Please, Mum, Amanda begged. We can fix this. I'll break ties with the investors. I'll stop the rebranding plans. I'll do anything. Just please don't sell the company. It's too late, I said softly. The trust is broken. Jason, seeing his dreams of easy wealth evaporating, made one last, desperate play. If you sell, we'll contest it. My father has powerful attorneys. We'll claim you're not mentally competent. Jason, Amanda gasped. Threaten me all you want, I told him coldly. My attorney has copies of everything, your plans. Amanda's unauthorized financial maneuvers, the documented campaign to undermine me with staff and clients. How do you think that will play out in court? How will your father react when this becomes public? That silenced him. Jason's family, for all their wealth, valued their reputation above all else. Get out of my office, I said quietly. All of you. Amanda, you're on administrative leave until further notice. Do not attempt to contact clients or access company information. Mom, please, Amanda whispered, her makeup streaked with tears. You made your choice, Amanda. I said, my heart breaking despite my resolved exterior. You chose Patricia Jason and their world over me and everything we built together. Now you get to live with that decision. As they filed out, Patricia turned back with one final barb. You'll regret this, Maud. You're throwing away your daughter's future because of your pride. No, I corrected her. I'm saving what's left of mine. After they left, I sat alone in my office, surrounded by the business I'd built, wondering how it had come to this. The plastic flower from Mother's Day seemed to symbolize everything, a cheap token substituting for genuine appreciation, a meaningless gesture revealing the emptiness beneath. That night, for the first time in decades, I didn't cry myself to sleep over family problems. Instead, I made plans. If this chapter of my life was ending, I would ensure it ended on my terms. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity as I implemented my plans to sell the company. My first priority was consulting with trusted business advisors to determine the true value of what I'd built. The numbers surprised even me. Decades of consistent growth, a sterling reputation, and a portfolio of high-profile clients made Maud Sullivan Designs considerably more valuable than I'd realized. You're in an excellent position to sell, my financial advisor confirmed, despite recent irregularities. I'd been transparent about Amanda's unauthorized financial activities, which my team was already working to document and rectify. Fortunately, the company's overall financial health remained strong. Word traveled quickly in our industry. Within days, I received inquiries from several interested buyers, including Walker Associates, a respected competitor with whom I'd maintained a cordial professional relationship for years. I always admired what you built, Maud, said Catherine Walker during our initial meeting. Your company's commitment to quality and client satisfaction aligns perfectly with our values. Their offer was generous, substantially above market value. But more importantly, Catherine understood my concerns about my loyal employees. We'd want to retain your team, she assured me. Their expertise and client relationships are a huge part of what makes your company valuable to us. While these discussions progressed, Amanda launched increasingly desperate attempts to stop the sale. Her initial rage gave way to pleading, then to manipulation. Dad would have wanted me to have the company, she said, during one phone call, invoking her long-dead father for leverage. Your father would have wanted you to earn it, not scheme to take it, I replied before ending the call. Patricia worked behind the scenes, contacting mutual acquaintances to spread rumors about my mental state. Maud's not herself lately, she'd tell them. Making irrational decisions. We're very concerned. These attempts backfired when several long-time clients contacted me directly to express their support. We heard rumors, said Margaret Winters, my very first major client. Just wanted to check that you're okay and let you know we're behind you whatever you decide. The loyalty from these clients, some of whom I'd worked with for decades, provided much-needed emotional support during this difficult time. Jason's tactics were more aggressive. He attempted to contact our top clients directly, suggesting the company was in trouble and they should delay any ongoing projects. Fortunately, my team intercepted most of these communications before they caused serious damage. Then came a security incident that crossed a line. Our office alarm was triggered late one night, and security footage showed Jason using an old key code to enter the building. He was attempting to access our client database when police arrived. I'm an investor in this company, though, he tried to claim. My wife is the owner's daughter. The police, already briefed on the situation, escorted him from the premises. I declined to press charges, not wanting to create additional trauma for Amanda despite everything. But the incident strengthened my resolve to complete the sale quickly. Through all this, my employees showed remarkable loyalty. Many had witnessed Amanda's gradual power plays and Patricia's condescending visits. They rallied around me with a dedication that brought me to tears. "We're Team Maud," Sarah declared during a staff meeting. "Whatever happens, we want you to know how much we respect what you've built and how you've treated us over the years." Their support reminded me that family isn't always defined by blood. Sometimes it's built through years of mutual respect and shared purpose. An unexpected ally emerged in Robert Taylor, Jason's father. He requested a private meeting, arriving without Patricia's knowledge. "I want to apologize for my family's behavior," he said, looking genuinely uncomfortable. "This is not how I raised my son to conduct business." Robert revealed that Patricia had been driving much of the scheme, seeing Amanda as a vehicle for elevating her own status in their social circle. "Patricia always resented coming from a middle-class background," he explained. "Your success, building something substantial on your own, threatened her. Taking control of your company through Amanda became her obsession." While his insights didn't excuse Amanda's actions, they helped me understand the dynamics at play. Robert also assured me he would not support any legal action against me or the sale. "Jason needs to learn there are consequences to unethical behavior," he said firmly. "And quite frankly, so does Patricia." With these obstacles gradually clearing, I focused on finalizing the sale. The due diligence process was exhausting but necessary. I wanted everything transparent, every detail properly documented. 2 months after that fateful Mother's Day, I sat in a conference room surrounded by attorneys, ready to sign the papers that would transfer ownership of Maud Sullivan Designs to Walker Associates. The moment felt surreal. 30 years of my life, of my identity, distilled into a stack of legal documents. Just as I picked up the pen, the conference room door burst open. Amanda stood there, wild-eyed and breathing hard. "Mum, don't do this," she cried. "Please, I'm begging you." Security moved toward her, but I held up my hand. "It's okay. Give us a moment." When we were alone, Amanda collapsed into tears. "Mum, I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But this company is our legacy, yours and mine. You can't sell it to strangers. It stopped being our legacy when you decided to take it rather than earn it," I said quietly. "Patricia pushed us," Amanda admitted. "She kept saying we deserved more, that you were holding us back. Jason's business was struggling, and we were overextended financially. It seemed like the only solution." "There are always other solutions, Amanda. You could have talked to me honestly. Instead, you plotted behind my back and treated me as an obstacle to be removed." "I'll do anything to make this right," she pleaded. "Anything." I studied my daughter's face, searching for the little girl who once colored beside me at our dining table. Perhaps she was still in there somewhere. But today wasn't about finding her. "I hope you find your way, Amanda," I said gently. "But it won't be through this company." I returned to the conference room and signed the papers. As I wrote my name for the final time as owner of Maud Sullivan Designs, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The betrayal still hurt, but I was no longer carrying the burden of a dream that had soured. Outside the building, Patricia was creating a scene, berating the security guards who prevented her from entering. When she saw me emerge, she charged forward. "You've destroyed your daughter's birthright," she shouted. "You're nothing but a bitter old woman punishing Amanda for outgrowing you." I regarded her calmly. "Goodbye, Patricia. I truly hope Amanda realizes someday what it cost her to win your approval." As my car pulled away, I watched Patricia continue her tirade in the rearview mirror, her carefully constructed image of sophistication crumbling in public. For the first time in years, I felt truly free. Back at the office, I gathered my team to announce the sale officially. There were tears and concerns, but also understanding. Catherine Walker has promised to honour all your contracts and positions, I assured them. She values what we've built together. Sarah hugged me tightly. What will you do now, Maud? I smiled, surprised to realise I hadn't given much thought to what came next. First, I think I'll take a long vacation. After that, we'll see. As I packed up my office, touching mementos collected over decades, I felt both grief and possibility. One chapter was ending, but perhaps that meant another could begin. The first few months after selling my company were the hardest. After decades of purpose-driven days, the sudden emptiness was disorienting. My identity had been so intertwined with Maud Sullivan Designs that without it, I sometimes felt like a ghost in my own life. I'd received a substantial sum from the sale, ensuring financial security for the rest of my life. But money couldn't fill the void left by betrayal or provide direction for my future. Some days, I couldn't bring myself to get out of bed, replaying memories of Amanda's childhood, searching for signs I'd missed, wondering where I'd gone wrong as a mother. The plastic flower still sat on my mantel, a reminder of how little my sacrifices had ultimately meant to her. Other days, anger fueled me. I purged my house of photos featuring Patricia and Jason. I changed my phone number to stop Amanda's calls, which had continued despite my silence. I even considered moving to another city for a fresh start. But running away had never been my style. I'd built my company by facing challenges head-on, and I would rebuild my life the same way. The turning point came unexpectedly during a chance encounter at a local cafe. I was sitting alone with my thoughts when someone called my name. Looking up, I saw Helen Rodriguez, a former client who had become a casual friend over the years. Maud, I've been thinking about you. May I join you? Over a coffee, I found myself sharing the whole painful story. Helen listened without judgment, then surprised me with her response. You know, I left a 30-year corporate career last year. Everyone expected me to just play golf and visit grandchildren. But I'm volunteering with a program that helps women start small businesses. Would you consider coming to speak to our group sometime? That simple invitation became my first step toward healing. Speaking to those women, sharing not just my business knowledge, but also the hard lessons about family business dynamics, ignited something new in me. Your story resonated deeply, one participant told me afterward. Especially the part about valuing yourself even when family doesn't. I needed to hear that. I began reconnecting with old friends I'd neglected during the all-consuming years of building my business and raising Amanda. Many had experienced their own disappointments with adult children or family betrayals. Their understanding provided comfort I couldn't find elsewhere. Margaret Winters, my longtime client, invited me to join her monthly book club. We need your perspective, she insisted. And frankly, you need to get out more. She was right. Gradually, I built a new social circle, not replacing what I'd lost with Amanda, but creating something different and in some ways richer. Travel became another source of healing. I'd always been too busy for extensive trips, but now I had both time and resources. I walked the streets of Paris, marveling at the architecture. I studied traditional design in Kyoto. I took a solo Mediterranean cruise, a small act of reclamation after hearing about the one Patricia had enjoyed with my daughter. During these travels, I rediscovered parts of myself long submerged under the roles of mother and business owner. I sketched for pleasure, rather than for clients. I made impulsive decisions. I stayed up late, talking with strangers who became friends. 6 months after the sale, I received a handwritten letter from Amanda. Unlike her previous attempts at contact, this one contained no demands, no accusations, no manipulations. Instead, it offered something unexpected, the beginning of accountability. "I've been in therapy," she wrote. "Jason and I separated. I'm trying to understand why I let Patricia's values override everything you taught me. I'm not asking for forgiveness yet. I know I haven't earned it. I just wanted you to know I'm trying to find my way back to the person I was before I lost sight of what matters." I didn't reply immediately, needing time to process my feelings. When I finally did write back, I kept my response simple. "I'm glad you're getting help. I need more time, but I'm open to talking when we're both ready." It was a small opening, but an honest one. Meanwhile, I found a new purpose emerging from the ashes of my former life. Using a portion of the proceeds from the company's sale, I established a small mentorship program for women entrepreneurs over 50. Women like I had been starting businesses later in life, often after personal setbacks. The Renewal Project. I called it, offering not just business advice, but also emotional support for women navigating major life transitions. We met weekly in a rented office space, sharing both practical knowledge and personal experiences. "I never thought I could start over at 58, said Jane, a recently divorced woman launching a catering business. "But seeing what you rebuilt after your betrayal gives me courage. Through helping others, I helped myself. Each woman's success became part of my healing journey." 3 months after her letter, I agreed to meet Amanda for coffee. We chose a neutral location, neither my home nor anywhere connected to our former shared life. She looked different. Simpler clothes, less makeup, the flashy jewelry gone. The influence of Patricia visibly diminished. "Thank you for meeting me," she said, her voice small but steady. "I've rehearsed what to say 100 times, but now all the words seem inadequate." "Just speak honestly," I encouraged. "That's all I've ever wanted from you." "I betrayed everything you taught me," she began. "I let greed and status and Patricia's constant pressure override my conscience. There's no excuse for what I did." We talked for hours, really talked perhaps for the first time in years. There were tears on both sides. Hard truths acknowledged, painful questions asked and answered. "I'm not asking to be part of your company again," Amanda clarified. "I know that bridge is burned. I'm just hoping someday to have my mother back in my life." I couldn't offer instant forgiveness or restoration. Too much damage had been done. But I could offer honesty. "I'm willing to try," I told her. Slowly, with boundaries, and with the understanding that trust once broken must be rebuilt over time. It was a beginning, fragile, but real. As my first year of post-company life came to a close, I hosted a small gathering at my home for the women from my mentorship program. Looking around at their faces, I felt a sense of purpose and connection I'd feared was lost forever. Later that evening, alone in my kitchen, I finally threw away the plastic flower from that fateful Mother's Day. It had served its purpose as a reminder, but I no longer needed physical tokens of betrayal to define my story. In its place on the mantel, I put a small crystal vase one of my mentees had given me, engraved with the words, "From roots to wings." It seemed a fitting symbol for this new chapter, acknowledging the past that had nourished me while embracing the freedom to fly in new directions. The wounds of betrayal hadn't disappeared entirely. They had simply become part of a larger, more complex tapestry, one that included new friendships, new purpose, and the possibility of a different kind of relationship with my daughter. I had learned that worth isn't measured by others' gifts or recognition. It's found in the capacity to rebuild after devastation, to create meaning from loss, to remain open to joy even after profound disappointment. Sometimes the most valuable thing we can do is let go of those who don't value us, not out of bitterness, but to make room for those who will. And sometimes the family that sustains us isn't the one we're born into or create biologically. but the one we build through shared values and mutual respect. That night I slept peacefully, no longer haunted by what I'd lost, but grateful for what I'd found. A new community, a new purpose, and most importantly, a renewed sense of self that no one could take away. Have you ever had to rebuild your life after betrayal by someone you deeply trusted? What helped you move forward? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more stories about finding strength through difficult transitions. Remember, it's never too late to rewrite your life story, even when others try to erase your chapters. Thank you for listening, and may you find your own path to healing and renewal.